So last class we had started with the allocation of the net offer, and in that we had understood what net offer means. What do you mean by offer through the offer document? What do you mean by non-institutional investor? And what do you mean by retail individual investors? Then we saw what is offer. Like, we understood that when we say the company has come up with a public issue or there is a offer, so there are three categories to this. One is offer size as per the prospectus. From that, we exclude the promoter contribution and we get is offer through the offer document. And then we have net offer, or which is called as net offer to the public, NOTP, which becomes the basis for the allotment. So whatever percentage that we see needs to be allotted to this person or that person is all your percentage of your net offer to the public. Then we saw that what are the types of issues in IPO only. Okay, this is purely from the IPO's point of view, that what are the different types of issues that we have. We have, one is the company which has complied with 6.1, or they have met all the conditions of 6.1, or the conditions of 6.1 is not met. If the condition of 6.1 is not met, then the company comes up with the issue under 6.2, and under 6.2 it is called as compulsory book building. However, the company which has complied all the conditions of 6.1, they have two options. One, they can go with a fixed price issue, or they can go with a book built issue. So if they go under a book built issue, then again you have different kinds of pricing. So this was 32.1 and this is 32.2, right? So just see, I know this was 1A, so just see this. Basically 31A, 32 regulation, 32 sub regulation 1, it says that if the public issue is via book building under 6.1, then you have 3.2 which says that book building under 6.2, right? This is the compulsory book building. And then we have uh, regulation 32 sub regulation 4, which says offer through other than the book building, right? So this is regulation 32 sub regulation 2, and this is regulation 32 sub regulation 4. Now if you see, we have anchor investors. In anchor, basically investors, the different types of investors that we have qualified institutional buyer, we have non-institutional investors, and we also have the retail individual investors. In the anchor investor QIB portion, you have anchor investor, you have other QIB, and then also some portion is reserved for the mutual funds also, right? Now if you see, for the net offer to the public, maximum 50% is for QIB in case of 6.1, minimum 15% and minimum 35% would be for the retail individual investor, and the spillover between these two categories would be allowed. Here for minimum 5% for the QIB portion, balance to the other QIBs, and 60% of the QIB portion would be for the anchor investors. So this was written there, that by the way, 60% for the anchor investors, this is common for both the types of book building process. We have this in the proviso. So here it says that provided further that in addition to 5%, so basically in terms of clause fee, mutual funds will be eligible, because here it says that of which 5% of which shall be allocated to the mutual funds. You can give more than that to the mutual funds also. And then you have this part, that in an issue which is made through book building process, the issuer may allocate up to 60% of the portion available for the allocation to this to the anchor investors. So basically anchor investor is a QIB whose application size is of minimum 10 crore rupees, right? And in case of a fixed price issue, it is 50%, minimum 50% to the retail, and then remaining to the others. Then if it is a 6.2, if it is a public issue under 6.2, then maximum 10% to the retail. Basically the company which has not complied with the four conditions of 6.1, then in that case you have the company which has complied with the four conditions. We say कि company अच्छा है, so retail investors को आप दो. We say in the sense there is a presumption that company is profitable and all, so we can allow retail to invest more. But if the company has not done that good and still it is coming up with a public issue, then we say the retail should not be allowed to invest more than 10%. And that's where the QIB will fill in the gap where they are going to invest maximum of 75, minimum of 75%, right? Then sub-regulation 4, where it said that other than book building process, minimum 50% to the retail and then balance to the others. Then we also discussed about the reservation of on competitive basis. So the reservations come after deducting the promoter contribution, the offer after deducting the promoter contribution, and there the reservations can be made for the employees of the company and also for the shareholders. However, the intermediaries who are registered, that is associated with the issue, that is the lead manager, registrar, syndicate members, their promoters, directors, employees of and of the group or their associate, they cannot they cannot subscribe for the shares of the company. Then reservation maximum limits and all were given. So for employees it was 5 lakh rupees, 5% overall, with 2 lakh rupees for any single employee. Okay. And then reservation for the shareholders will not exceed 10% of the issue size, and no further application will be made in the net offer category if you have received in the competitive basis, if you have received anything except an employee and an retail individual investors. If you are employee or your retail individual investor, you can go ahead with that. Now, any unsubscribed portion between this will be adjusted. So we also discussed, I think I had written it in the slide. No, I have not written it. So basically it was very simple. That employees, you have been given a maximum of 5%, but let's say 5% plus 2 lakh. This is the maximum limit. Now let's say some employees want to subscribe for the shares of the company and some of them have not applied, which means this 5% category still has got some vacuum. Then you may allow, right? If there is a vacuum in this 5%, if there is a vacuum in this 5%, then the employees may invest more than that, right? And then we say that we have 10% for the shareholders. Now, if there is a vacuum, then in that case, the employees may fill this gap. They can exceed this 5% to fill the vacuum. So this is what is given. So in case of under subscription in the net offer category, no, not before this. So in case of any unsubscribed portion in any reserved category, this may be added to the other reserved category and vice versa also. If there is a vacuum here and shareholders want to do, so this vacuum can be filled. So only whenever there is an under subscription. So a better word for vacuum would be whenever there is an under subscription. So to fill this under subscription, the inter se adjustments can take place. And this is same like your set off and carry forward. Taxation में नहीं है, set off and carry forward. Same source, same head, then same source, inter head, and then inter source, set off and write, carry forward. तो ये वो वाला point हो गया. First of all, within the same reserved category, you do the adjustment. If there is again under subscription in the other category, so you can do the set off inter se adjustment with them also. And then if the reserved category is like oversubscribed and in the net offer there is any under subscription, so from reserved category you can also subscribe shares in the net offer category also, and you can exceed the limits which have been given here. ये reservation वाला point clear हुआ आपको? See, regulation 32 and regulation 33 एग्जाम perspective काफी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. बाय द वे, जब भी हमारा आईपीओ यहाँ पे कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, आईपीओ का पूरा प्रोसेस कंप्लीट होगा, I'll make a list, okay, and I'll put it on the slide that these are the regulations which are applicable for uh, the public issue. Okay, when it comes to IPO, these are the regulations which are applicable. This I am going to do for all, right? So this way, one way where doing this helps you in two ways. One is we get a complete picture that हमने पूरे ICDR के एक एक रेगुलेशन को कंप्लीट कर लिया. वन. Secondly, next time when you have to read ICDR regulation, you know which regulations is where and what to read accordingly. तीसरा इसका क्या फायदा होता है, जब एग्जाम से एक दिन पहले यू वांट टू रिवाइज समथिंग, यू वांट टू डू, तो ये रिवीजन में आपको काफ़ी ज़्यादा हेल्प करेगा. बिकॉज लेट्स से रेगुलेशन 5, ओके दिस दीज वर द पॉइंट्स, रेगुलेशन 6, ओके दीज वर द पॉइंट्स, रेगुलेशन 7, दीज वर द पॉइंट्स, रेगुलेशन 8, अच्छा OFS के पॉइंट्स याद नहीं आ रहे, सो यू कैन इमीडिएटली रेफर रेगुलेशन 8 पॉइंट्स एंड देन यू नो स्ट्रेट अवे प्रमोटर कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन, ओके दीज वर द पॉइंट. सो आपको रिविजन करने में बहुत ज़्यादा help hoga. So I'll make that index and I will share that again in the slides itself, so that later on whenever you want to revise, you can do that revision and it will be helpful for all of you. Guys, make sense ये वाला point?
Yes sir.
ठीक है, चलिए तो फिर हम यहाँ पे आगे बढ़ते हैं एंड लेट्स स्टार्ट. तो यहाँ पे एवरेज प्रोस्पेक्टस था, सो वी नो दैट एवरेज प्रोस्पेक्टस इज टू बी इशूड, ओके, एंड एवरेज प्रोस्पेक्टस इज द, it contains the salient features of the prospectus, and what are going to be those salient features. For that the disclosures whichever is to be made, it is given in here. So कोई ऐसा problem नहीं है that you need to read it in detail. Just know that salient features of the prospectus are there, and name of the issuer, it's like very common point, name of the issuer, date of opening of the issue, basis of price, risk, and all these points are there. So uh, I will be covering what all things are there in the advertisement. Okay, रेगुलेशन 43 जब हम करेंगे तो ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर पॉइंट्स है वहाँ पे, सो यू कैन इवन इफ यू राइट 5-7 पॉइंट्स कॉमन, दो नॉट क्वेश्चन बनता नहीं है एग्जाम में इसके ऊपर, बट इफ दे आस्क यू कैन स्टिल राइट दैट. Then every application, so basically average prospectus will be accompanied with the application, or you can say every application form will be accompanied with the abridged prospectus. Then ASBA we had covered, so the issuer shall accept bids using ASBA facility. Now with respect to ASBA, there are certain changes that have come. Changes in the sense there are new circulars and everything that has come. So we will discuss about this when we do the IPO प्रोसेस. सर अभी भी तो वही पढ़ रहे हैं. आंसर इज नो. मेरा पॉइंट है जो आईपीओ प्रोसेस का हम बात कर रहे हैं, दिस इज फ्रॉम टी डे टिल T+6 डे. जब हम यहाँ पे टी डे के बारे में पढ़ेंगे तब होगा. सर ये टी डे क्या है? सी, व्हेन द इशू क्लोजेस, ओके, व्हेन द इशू क्लोजेस, दैट इज द टी डे. और वहाँ से 6th डे में आपका जो सिक्योरिटी है it gets listed. The shares will get listed in the market. So when the issue closes, यहाँ से लेके यहाँ तक T+1, T+2, T+3, T+4, ऐसे हर दिन का आपके पास एक अलग से compliance है. You will not get that list in the module, right? But इसका एक proper list है और वो यहाँ पे आएगा. And there is an amendment also in this. तो ये list हम लोग cover करेंगे. And also possible that by the time you guys give your exam, this list also gets amended. Right now what is T+6 may become T+4 also. Okay, then availability of the issue materials, right? So the lead managers, it is his responsibility that whatever offer document, whenever any offer document is being needed, that is being available. And also all these offer documents are available with the stock exchanges, syndicate member, registrar, okay, registrar and share transfer agent, right? And then again depository participant, stockbroker, underwriter, banker to the issue, self-certified syndicate bank. By the way, what is the difference between registrar to issue and registrar and share transfer agent? It's same. Basically, if you know, if you see registrar and share transfer agent, these are not two separate person. It is the same person. Before issue, this person is called as registrar, and after the issue, the same person is called as share transfer agent. Okay, so there is no difference between the two. and collectively we call this person as RT, registrar and transfer agent. Okay, then incentives are not to be received, right, for basically making any public application for the public issue. Then security deposit is to be given. Then IPO grading, this I discussed. IPO grading was required. Now IPO grading is not required. It is not mandatory. But if you do it, then again you need to get it done from a credit rating agency and it has to be disclosed in the offer document. We were discussing about the underwriting. So if the company makes up with a public issue other than the book building process and it desires to have an underwriting, then in that case it shall appoint the underwriter in accordance with the underwriter's regulation. Now just see, if the issuer making an public offer desires to, so tell me, is it mandatory for the company if it is coming up with other than book building process to get the underwriting done? Answer is no, because again it is, this is basically other than book building process is your fixed price issue. But when the company comes up through the book building process, then certain limits have been done, that here you will see the issue shall be, the issuer shall, ये दिख रहा है आपको wordings, if the indicate this if the syndicate members fails to fulfill, the lead manager shall, the lead manager and syndicate shall not. In case of every written underwritten issue, the lead manager shall. Okay, where the issue is required to be underwritten, the underwriting obligation should be, should at least, ये दिख रहा है आपको, यहाँ पर बुक बिल्डिंग में हर जगह वर्ड क्या यूज किया गया है, शैल, और फिक्स प्राइस में क्या यूज किया गया है, डिजायर. तो अंडर राइटिंग में फर्स्ट पॉइंट आप देखो, that in case of a other than book building process fixed price, it is not mandatory for the underwriting to be done, but yes, if the company wants to do, then company will appoint the underwriters who are registered with SEBI. However, if it is through the book building process, now tell me, book building process whether compulsory और अंडर 6(1) दोनों यहाँ पे आएगा, और इट विल कवर ओनली 6(2). द बुक बिल्डिंग प्रोसेस अंडर रेगुलेशन 6(1), 6(2) और बोथ, ये किसके बारे में बात हो रहा है?
सर इसमें दोनों आएगा
क्यों?
सर, क्योंकि एज अ होल बुक बिल्डिंग की बात हो रही है.
Correct, because nothing is mentioned whether book building under 6(1) or 6(2). So when law, basically one of the interpretation of law is law can neither be extended nor it can be curtailed. Correct. तो जितना लिखा है उतना, तो यहाँ पे लिखा अगर book building, this means both the book building will come into picture. So here it is said that the issue, by the way, this is important from exam perspective, this is important, that when the issuer makes the issue other through the book building process, then the issue shall be underwritten by the lead manager and the syndicate member. Now again tell me, underwriter को अपॉइंट करना अभी भी जरूरी है? आंसर इज नो. यहां पर क्या बताया हुआ है, दैट द इशूअर, ओके, एज पर दिस इशूअर whenever it comes with the book building process, तो यहाँ पे जो इशू है उसको क्या बोला गया है, that has to be underwritten and that will be underwritten by the lead manager and also the syndicate member. आगे क्या बताया हुआ है? So basically in case of book building process, who underwrites issue, or basically who is being mandated to underwrite the issue? One is the lead manager, that is your merchant banker, and the syndicate member. अभी अगर आप देखो यहाँ पे क्या बताया है, प्रोवाइडेड दैट एटलीस्ट 75% ऑफ द net offer proposed to be compulsorily allotted to the qualified institutional buyer for the purpose of compliance of the eligibility condition under sub-regulation 2 cannot be underwritten. So here we have some provisions only with respect to 6(2), where it says that the QIB portion cannot be underwritten. Okay, the QIB portion will not be underwritten. Then the issuer shall, prior filing to the prospectus, enter into an underwriting agreement. So before you file the prospectus, enter into an underwriting agreement with your lead manager and your syndicate member, and also indicate what is the number of shares which they are going to subscribe and what is going to be the predetermined level in the event of under subscription in the issue. Then agar syndicate member, if they fail their obligation, then it is the lead manager who will fulfill their obligation, because it is collectively they both have to enter into that underwriting obligation. Then the lead manager and syndicate member shall not subscribe to the issue in any manner except for fulfilling their obligation. Now you straight away connect this with the allocation. You straight away connect this point number D with the allocation. Allocation वाले point में हमने देखा था that this part, sorry, not this, yeah, this part, provided that the issuer shall not make any reservation for the lead manager and all, correct. तो यहाँ पर बोला इन सब के लिए कोई भी reservation यहाँ पर आपका नहीं रहेगा, ठीक है। अब अगर आप यहाँ पे चेक करो, इधर क्या बता रहा है आपको, that जस्ट सी पॉइंट नंबर डी, लीड मैनेजर, मर्चेंट बैंकर एंड सिंडिकेट मेंबर, इनको क्या बोला हुआ है, यू विल नॉट बी सब्सक्राइबिंग फॉर द इशू इन एनी मैनर एक्सेप्ट ओनली टू फुलफिल योर अंडरराइटिंग ऑब्लिगेशन। सो उधर बताया देर विल बी नो रिजर्वेशन फॉर देम, और यहाँ पर बताया हुआ है दैट दे शैल नॉट सब्सक्राइब फॉर द issue except for fulfill their underwriting their obligation. Now what about the employees and the relatives and the directors of the company, of the lead manager and syndicate member, क्या ये restriction उनके ऊपर भी है? So answer is no. The restriction is only on the lead manager and the syndicate member. Then in case of every underwritten issue, the lead manager shall undertake minimum underwriting obligation as specified in this. So what is the minimum underwriting obligation as per the merchant banker regulation? So it is rupees 25 lakh or 5% of the total underwriting obligation. जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस, ये आपको मर्चेंट बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन के अंदर मिलेगा। जस्ट चेक रेगुलेशन 22 ऑफ द मर्चेंट बैंकर रेगुलेशंस, और यहाँ पर आपको बताया हुआ है दैट मिनिमम ऑब्लिगेशन वुड बी 5% ऑफ द टोटल अंडरराइटिंग ऑब्लिगेशन और rupees 25 lakh whichever is lower. Now this is minimum. So in case अगर आप कोई प्रोस्पेक्टस को पढ़ो जहाँ पे आपको देखे कि मर्चेंट बैंकर ने अंडरराइट किया है और 25 लाख से ज़्यादा का अमाउंट अंडरराइट किया है, तो डोंट वरी दैट सर इट वाज रिटन lower of the these two, why the merchant banker has done more. So merchant banker can do that, okay, but what is the point which is given here in the merchant banker regulation? It is minimum 25 लाख और 5%, तो इतना कम से कम करना है, इसके बियॉन्ड अगर करते हो तो देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम। एंड देन वेयर द इशू is required to be specified, is required to be underwritten, the underwriting obligation should at least, so the underwriting obligation should be at least to the extent of minimum subscription. So now can you understand, now can you understand that
Yes,
where
sir.
the issuer is required to issue, like, or where the issue is required to be underwritten, तो आपका underwriting obligation कितना रहेगा कि minimum subscription मिल जाए. So it is not like how you have studied in your executive accounts that 90% of the issue, वो यहाँ पर लॉजिक नहीं लगेगा, ठीक है, 90% वाला लॉजिक यहाँ पर नहीं लगेगा, स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड जो हम लोग कैलकुलेट करते थे। देन अगर आप देखो नेक्स्ट इज योर मॉनिटरिंग।
Sir, I have a question, sir.
यस,
Sir, is it possible that the lead manager and the syndicate members also fail to fulfill the underwriting obligation?
see there is a possibility, but again if you see the merchant banker regulation gives this obligation, this cast obligation, so this much has to be taken,
हाँ sir.
ये ऑब्लिगेशन ऑलरेडी दे दिया है इसके ऊपर, आया समझ में।
Yes, sir.
So if the word shall has been used, they will have to inter say this has been done, that if the syndicate member fails then lead manager shall.
Then lead manager, sir.
But for lead manager, there is no escape. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Then the only way is if there is no under subscription, then there is no problem. We'll come back to this. ये वाला जो पॉइंट आपने भी उठाया, ये जब इशू क्लोज अपना होगा और अंडर सब्सक्रिप्शन रहेगा, तब ये वाला पॉइंट वापस से आएगा.
Okay.
ठीक है. Then we have something called as monitoring agency. So monitoring agency नाम से ही लग रहा है. This is going to be doing the supervision overview. Correct. Now, what is the role of this monitoring agency? This is going to do the supervision for the funds which are raised. Okay, in the public issue. So, if the issue size excluding the size of offer for sale by selling shareholder. Now, tell me why this is written. Okay. By the way, you don't have to answer this right now. ये पूरा regulation पढ़ने के बाद आप करोगे. So you have to read it like this. If the issue size exceeds, read it this way, if the issue size exceeds 100 crore rupees, the issuer shall make arrangements for the use of proceeds of the issue to be monitored by a public financial institution or by a scheduled commercial bank named in the offer document as banker to the issue. इसका क्या मतलब है? एंड यहाँ पे क्यों ये ब्रैकेट में पॉइंट को हटाया एक्सेप्ट ये वाला पॉइंट? व्हाई डू वी हैव दिस एक्सेप्शन? व्हाई डू वी हैव दिस एक्सेप्शन? Why? I hope you all can see the screen, correct?
Yes, sir.
So please just give it a try. मैं इसको फिर explain करता हूँ. Otherwise, it's a very simple thing. See, company has raised the money. Okay. Let's say company has raised 300 crores. Now, when company has raised 300 crores, this exceeds 100 crore. This is more than 100 crore. Here in this case, the company or basically the ICDR regulation, this cast an obligation on the company that appoint your banker to the issue. Okay. Appoint your banker to the issue as monitoring agency. This should be the monitoring agency, and this monitoring agency is going to look after where you are utilizing your funds, where you are deploying your funds. So this is like additional supervision on the company. Now this is not applicable in case of OFS. Why? Because in the OFS, the money is not utilized by the company. The money is straight away given to the selling shareholder. So in that case, you don't have anything, or basically there will be no supervision for that. That is the money which belongs to the selling shareholder and they are free to do whatever they want. But in case the money is received with the company, right? Then in that case, the company, the monitoring agency is going to, so this banker to the issue, this will only become your monitoring agency, and this monitoring agency is going to look after your entire deployment of the funds, how these funds are going to be used, and all the things. Guys, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
That you utilize it will, it is basically going to ensure that you utilize the funds for whatever purpose you had raised the money for. But then you have a proviso, and this proviso says that nothing contained in this clause shall apply to the issue of specified securities by a bank or public financial institution or by an insurance company. So bank, PFIs and insurance company, when they come up with a public issue, Sorry. So banks, PFIs and insurance company, for them this monitoring agency requirement is not there, but other than that the monitoring agency would be there. So we have been tracking the Barbecue Nation prospectus for Barbecue Nation Axis Bank is their monitoring agency. Okay. So sir, how these monitoring agencies are going to work and till what extent their role would be? Because of course the role of monitoring agency is going to start after the public issue. Yes or no? एक बार पब्लिक से पैसा आपने रेस कर लिया, उसके बाद में मॉनिटरिंग एजेंसी का रोल स्टार्ट होगा, उससे पहले तो होगा नहीं. सो टिल व्हाट एक्सटेंट और टिल व्हाट टाइम, मतलब 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 10 years, right, 6 months, what is the time period till when the monitoring agency is going to do the supervision? So here it is being given that the monitoring agency is going to submit the report to the issuer, okay, on a quarterly basis till, this is important, till 95% of the proceed of the issue, excluding the proceeds which are raised for general corporate purpose, have been utilized. Now obviously general corporate purpose के लिए आपको मैंने उस वक्त भी बताया था that there is no specified purpose which has been used. It can be utilized for anything. But and what is the maximum limit for general corporate purpose? जनरल कॉर्पोरेट पर्पस के लिए मैक्सिमम कितना यूटिलाइज कर सकते हो आप? हाउ मच यू कैन यूटिलाइज फॉर द जनरल कॉर्पोरेट पर्पस? मैक्सिमम ऑफ 25%. 25% से ज़्यादा आप जनरल कॉर्पोरेट पर्पस के लिए यूटिलाइज नहीं कर सकते. तो जो भी आपका बैलेंस फंड्स है जो आपने जनरल कॉर्पोरेट पर्पस के लिए सेट असाइड नहीं करके रखा था, उसका 95%, सो लेट्स से कंपनी हैज़ रेज्ड 500 crores, okay, and in the public issue itself they mention that what is the specific purpose, the percentage which will be utilized for the specific purpose, and what is the general corporate purpose. So general corporate purpose, let's presume company ने बोला we are going to utilize 15%. वैसे no company does this, सब 25 ही करके रखते हैं. और अगर ये है तो बैलेंस आपके लिए कितना हो गया? 85% विच विल बी यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्पस. सो 500 करोड़ का 85%, सो दिस बिकम्स 425 करोड़. अब 425 करोड़ का 95% आप लोगे, this is into 95%. So till the time you, the company does not utilize 403 crore 75 lakh rupees, so 403.75 crore, till the time this much amount is not utilized for that particular purpose, the monitoring agency is going to send quarterly report to the issuer, okay, and then the board of directors and the management of the issuer, they are going to provide comments on that, and this will be submitted to the stock exchange. So the issuer shall within 45 days from the end of each quarter publicly disseminate the report of the monitoring agency by uploading the same on its website as well as submitting the same to the stock exchange on which the equity shares are listed. So अभी अगर आप बारबेक्यू नेशन का वेबसाइट पे जाओगे और you go to the website of stock exchange, you will get this monitoring agency report. क्या ये क्लियर हुआ? मॉनिटरिंग एजेंसी,
Yes, sir.
is this clear? Simple sub
Yes.
point. So what is the role of monitoring agency? Role of monitoring agency is to do a supervision or to oversee the deployment of the funds which have been utilized, which have been raised by the company for a specific purpose, excluding the general corporate purpose. Whatever the amount was allocated for the specific purpose, uska 95% till the time it is not utilized, there will be or quarterly reporting by the monitoring agency. The monitoring agency is going to submit its report. So the monitoring agency is going to submit quarterly report, right? It is going to submit the quarterly report to the company, and then company is going to, within 45 days, the company is going to put it on the website of the company, plus will also send it to the stock exchanges. जहां पर भी कंपनी के ये शेयर्स लिस्टेड है, ठीक है। तो ये आपके लिए पूरा पॉइंट था, राइट। देन पब्लिक कमेंट्स, पब्लिसिटी मटेरियल, एडवर्टीजमेंट्स, इसमें बताया कि इट शुड कंटेन ऑल द प्रोविजंस ऑफ शेड्यूल 9। सो टेक्निकली अगर आप देखो तो इसमें भी सेम पॉइंट्स आ जाएगा, देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी ओमिशन एंड ऑल। तो ये देखो ये यहाँ पर है, हालांकि इट इज़ नॉट रेलेवेंट फॉर योर एग्जाम, मैं यहाँ पे भी लिख देता हूँ नॉट रेलेवेंट फॉर योर एग्जाम। So I can say that if this question, let's say if they ask you a question on this, what should be the content of the public communication, publicity material and advertisement and the research reports which are issued by the issuer company? So I'm very sure you'll be able to write so many points, right, where you'll get exactly the point. तो अगर आप यहाँ पे देखो तो इसमें भी ऐसे बताया हुआ है 42, 83, 138, 199, 264. So basically IPO, राइट इशू, एफपीओ, आप ये देख रहे हो सेम पॉइंट्स आपके यहाँ पर एप्लीकेबल है। सो द सेम करस्पॉन्डिंग सेक्शन, सो व्हाट वी आर स्टडिंग 42 फॉर आईपीओ would be a corresponding provision for 83 for right issue and the same would be section regulation 138 for a FPO। तो इसमें बताया हुआ है ये सारे जो भी आपके यहाँ पे कम्युनिकेशन होंगे इसके अंदर ये रहना चाहिए। अब देखो why it is not relevant for exam, because just see, the information should be truthful, it should be fair, and should not be manipulative or deceptive. It should not have any statement which is untrue or misleading, right? And then it should not have any information which is contained, जो basically यहाँ पर क्या करते हैं, which is which should contain all the relevant facts, right? And should not be restricted only to the select extract. So वो भी आप यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हो, conceal कर रहे हो। It should be clear, concise, and in the understandable language, right? And it should not contain any slogan or brand name of the issuer except for the normal commercial use जैसे आपका रहता है। Then it shall, जैसे कि बर्गर किंग हो गया, राइट, या लेट्स से डी मार्ट हो गया। आप देखो डी मार्ट इज नॉट द कंपनी। सेम वे इंडिगो के लिए अगर आप देखो, इंडिगो एयरलाइंस का जो कंपनी है उसका नाम है इंटरग्लोब एविएशन, लेकिन उसको अभी भी क्या बोलते हैं, इंडिगो बोलते हैं। हाँ, ऐसा क्यों होता है, बिकॉज इंडिगो इज द ब्रांड नेम। सो वी ऑल वर सेइंग दैट इंडिगो का पब्लिक इशू है, वी नेवर से वो कंपनी का नाम, राइट। सो सेम थिंग गोज हियर कि एक्सेप्ट फॉर द नॉर्मल कमर्शियल यूज, कि कंपनी को उसी नाम से जानते हैं, उसके अलावा आप कोई और यहाँ पे स्लोगन्स या ब्रांड नेम वहाँ पर आप यूज़ नहीं करोगे। एंड देन द स्लोगन्स और जो भी आप यहाँ पे मटेरियल्स को यूज़ करते हो, दिस शुड नॉट हैव एनी नॉन फैक्चुअल्स और अनसब्सटेंटिएटेड टाइटल्स, कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं रहना चाहिए, ओवर एग्जैजरेट नहीं करना आपको। पास्ट 3 इयर्स का डेटा रहेगा वो आपका जाएगा फाइनेंशियल्स का, राइट। आई थिंक अभी तक आपने अगर प्रोस्पेक्टस और को पढ़ा है तो हमने हर जगह देखा है लास्ट 3 इयर्स डेटा वाज गिवन, right? EPS and everything, profit after tax, all these informations was given there. Then it should issue advertisement and it should not use any technical, legal or complex language or any excessive details which may distract the investors. So more knowledge, more confusion, but no knowledge, no confusion, ऐसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए, right? It should contain all the relevant facts, but it should not overdo, right? If you provide excessive details so that the investors get confused, you should not do that. Now what is all relevant and what is not, what is excess, this all has to be determined by the merchant banker. Then the issue advertisement shall not contain any statement which is a promise or a guaranteed rapid increase in the revenue or profit, that definitely. So forward looking statement type, so right, so it should not be exaggerated, there should not be any guaranteed profits or revenue. And the advertisement shall not display any model or celebrity or fictional characters, landmark, caricatures, etc., right. If you see for the advertisement, right, for the advertisement of a particular company, you will find people endorsing, like take for example Zomato. So though there is no one, but for, let's say, let's take example for Zomato. Let's presume that Virat Kohli is doing, he's the brand ambassador of Zomato, he comes and he does that. But when the company is going to come up with the public issue, then at that point of time for public issue Virat Kohli cannot come and endorse that, okay, you do that. By the way, if you notice, for SEBI, SEBI has clearly mentioned that even for mutual funds, SEBI has said that there should not be any advertisements, right? Now they have allowed advertisements for the mutual fund in which celebrities can come, right? The celebrities can come. Otherwise, for mutual funds, there was no celebrity also. Now they have said the celebrities can come, but celebrities cannot come for a single or for a company specific mutual fund, or basically for a particular scheme of the mutual fund. They can come in general for the mutual fund, like Sachin, how it comes for the mutual fund sahi hai, but he never comes and says that ये ICICI का म्यूचुअल फंड सही है, या किसी और का अपोलो का म्यूचुअल फंड सही है, राइट? ऐसा नहीं बोलते, वो क्या बोलते हैं, म्यूचुअल फंड सही है, सो दे कम एंड दे से ओनली फॉर द म्यूचुअल फंड। तो आपको ये ध्यान रखना है, सेबी डिस्करेजेस द एडवर्टीजमेंट्स बाय एनी मॉडल और सेलिब्रिटी और एनी फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर्स, लैंडमार्क कैरिकेचर्स। अभी फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर्स भी क्यों, आप जैसे ये देखो, एयर इंडिया का महाराजा, सो दैट इज अ फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर, करेक्ट? कौन सा, वो एक ऐसा मूछ वाला महाराजा आपका वेलकम करने को होता है, बट that's a fictional character, so you should not have these things, right? Then the issue advertisement on television shall not appear in the form of crawlers, right, which run simultaneously with the program। तो जैसे CNBC में नीचे टिकर नहीं रहता है, प्राइसिंग, उस तरह से आपका ये एडवर्टीजमेंट नहीं आना चाहिए। इशू एडवर्टीजमेंट ऑन द टेलीविजन दैट एडवाइज द व्यूअर्स टू रेफर द ड्राफ्ट ऑफ अ डॉक्यूमेंट और द ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट और मे बी द रिस्क फैक्टर्स। अब यहाँ पे यू हैव टू, it shall advise that आप offer documents को पढ़ो, risk factors को take into consideration। So this is again similar like your mutual funds, that before investing read the offer documents carefully। Then advertisement research paper contain highlights shall advise, so again ये वापस से same point आया, and this should not be less than the 0.7 size, तो font size भी आपको यहाँ पे बताया। Then the issue एडवर्टीजमेंट जो भी यहाँ पर डिस्प्ले रहेगा, इसमें ये सारा इंफॉर्मेशन होगा। सो दिस इज द बेसिक पॉइंट विच इज गोइंग टू बी देयर फॉर all the public communication publicity materials, right? Now when you see the issue related advertisement, now issue related advertisement, तो आप यहाँ पे देखो, दो एडवर्टीजमेंट्स यहाँ पर किया जाएगा। one is the pre-issue advertisement and another is the post-issue advertisement। So right now we are going to study about the pre-issue advertisement। अब आप देखो pre-issue advertisement में क्या बोला है, subject to the provisions of the Companies Act 2013, the issuer shall, after filing the red herring prospectus in the book built issue or prospectus with the registrar of company, make a pre-issue advertisement in one English National Daily, one Hindi National Daily जहाँ पर रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस है कंपनी का, एंड इन द सॉरी हिंदी, एंड वन इज इन द रीजनल लैंग्वेज वर्नाकुलर लैंग्वेज जहाँ पे कंपनी का रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस सिचुएटेड है। सो प्री ऑफर एडवर्टीजमेंट जो होगा वो आपका, या प्री इशू एडवर्टीजमेंट जो होगा, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी इन 3 न्यूज़पेपर्स, जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस, इंग्लिश, हिंदी नेशनल एंड योर रीजनल लैंग्वेज वर्नाकुलर लैंग्वेज जहां पर आपका रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस सिचुएटेड है। See, the further advertisements which all are going to be issued, it will be issued in the same newspaper। आगे भी जो आप advertisements दोगे, all this is going to be in the same newspaper। So let's say अगर यहाँ पर आपने economic times में दिया, so later on you cannot say I want to give it in business standard और HT सॉरी HT-Mint। यहाँ पर आपने जिस न्यूज़पेपर में दिया, आगे भी आपको उसी न्यूज़पेपर में देना होगा advertisement। Then you see the pre-issue advertisement shall be in the format and shall contain the disclosures which are given in part A of the schedule 10। Now यहाँ पे क्या क्या आपके पार्ट ए शेड्यूल 10 में क्या क्या डिस्क्लोजर्स है, ये मैं आपको बता देता हूँ, कई बार इसके ऊपर आ जाता है। तो देखो ये आपको फॉर्मेट दिया। नाउ अगेन इफ यू सी, दिस इज फॉर IPO, राइट, FPO, राइट, ये सारा आपको पॉइंट्स मिलता है। सो आप इसमें देखो, यहाँ पर एडवर्टीजमेंट में ये स्टेटमेंट होना जरूरी है, दिस इज ओनली एन एडवर्टीजमेंट फॉर इंफॉर्मेशन पर्पस एंड इज नॉट अ प्रोस्पेक्टस अनाउंसमेंट। ये एक पॉइंट वहां पर लिखना जरूरी है। ना आयरनी आप चेक करो, व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ प्रोस्पेक्टस अंडर द कंपनीज एक्ट? इट सेज दैट एनी piece of document which invites the public to subscribe for the security of the company is considered as an advertisement, is considered as an prospectus। Now technically if you see, this advertisement is also inviting the public to subscribe for the shares only, टेक्निकली इवन दिस इज टू बी कंसिडर्ड एज प्रोस्पेक्टस, बट यहाँ पर आपको बताया हुआ है कि लॉ में क्लियरली उन्होंने बोला है दैट प्लीज मेंशन दैट दिस इज द एडवर्टीजमेंट विच इज ओनली फॉर द इंफॉर्मेशन पर्पस एंड दिस इज नॉट अ प्रोस्पेक्टस अनाउंसमेंट। ये एक पॉइंट आपको यहाँ पर क्लियरली बताना। Now, what all informations you are going to provide in this? So basically, you need to provide the following information. First, of course, the name of the issuer. You're going to mention who is the issuer company. So company का नाम वहाँ पे रहेगा. Then in this advertisement, you are going to mention who are the promoters of the company. Let's say if they ask you what is pre-issue advertisement. By the way, they can ask you a question on pre-issue advertisement. So ये आपका content. So name of the issuer, who is the promoter. Then you are also going to discuss about the issue. Now when I say about the issue, so you need to mention how many number of shares the company is going to issue and at the rate what price. This you are going to mention. Thereafter, you are also going to provide the basis of allocation, because you know what is going to be your public issue type, whether it's a book built issue, compulsory book built issue, or it's a fixed price issue. You need to mention that. Then you also need to mention that the listing permission that has been taken on the proposed stock exchange. So where the securities are going to be listed. So listing on the proposed stock exchange, you are going to mention this. Thereafter, if you see, there has to be a disclaimer clause. Now this is important, and this is funny also. Why? You'll just see this. See, there should be a disclaimer clause. And what is the disclaimer clause? See, the DRHP is filed to SEBI. SEBI issues its observation, SEBI issues its comment, and then that comment is being incorporated, or whatever their observation and changes which are suggested by the SEBI, all that is incorporated in the offer document or in the red herring prospectus by the company. There has to be a disclaimer that SEBI has just given the observation, right? That the SEBI only gives observation and do not constitute the approval. It do not constitute the approval of the issue. This is what? This is SEBI has just given. So एक तरीके से SEBI ने अपने आप को यहाँ पे सिक्योर कर लिया दैट कल को कोई और SEBI को आके ये नहीं बोले कि आपने तो अप्रूव कर दिया था या ऐसे। तो यहाँ पर आपको क्लियरली ये चीज़ मेंशन करना है दैट दिस डज नॉट कॉन्स्टिट्यूट एज अ approval by SEBI. Okay, this is only that SEBI has given the observation. Then give the information about the lead managers, that who are your merchant bankers, and also who is your compliance officer. You need to provide the detail about these people. Compliance officer. Then further you need to see that from where the application forms will be available. So the availability of the application form, कि एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म आपको कहाँ पर मिलेगा। देन फर्दर अगर आप यहाँ पे देखो कि जो रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस है, ये आपको बताना होगा दैट द रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस दिस विल बी अवेलेबल, और दिस इज ऑल्सो देयर ऑन द वेबसाइट ऑफ द SEBI. It is also on the website of stock exchange and also on the website of the lead manager. The advertisement is also going to mention this. Then you will have to provide इतना information जब आपने दिया है, also mention that what is going to be the date of opening and the closing of issue. आपका issue कब open होगा, कब आपका issue close होगा. Mention this also. Also provide what is going to be the price band, right? ये प्री इशू एडवर्टीजमेंट के अंदर आप यहाँ पे बताओगे. यू नीड टू ऑल्सो मेंशन व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी द लॉट साइज, द मिनिमम लॉट साइज क्या आपका यहाँ पे रहेगा. टुडे वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द मिनिमम लॉट साइज, और मे बी इन टुमारोज क्लास वी विल डू दिस. देन यू ऑल्सो नीड टू मेंशन द बेसिस ऑफ इशू प्राइस, कि आपका इशू प्राइस जो है वो क्या है और क्यों इस तरीके से आपने ये प्राइस बैंड को सेटअप किया है. एंड ऑल्सो यू नीड टू प्रोवाइड what all things are going to be द पार्ट ऑफ द रिस्क फैक्टर कि कौन कौन से एरियाज में आपको लगता है कि यहाँ पर रिस्क है. एंड देन अगेन देर विल बी अ स्टेटमेंट दैट द इन्वेस्टर्स मस्ट रीड द ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट, राइट. ये एक डिस्क्लेमर आपका रहेगा दैट इन्वेस्टर्स मस्ट रीड द ऑफर डॉक्यूमेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड द रिस्क फैक्टर्स बिफोर इन्वेस्टिंग, राइट. सो ये आपका पूरा एक लिस्ट तैयार रहेगा. सो दिस नीड्स टू बी डन. ओके, सो ये आपका प्री इशू एडवर्टीजमेंट के अंदर का कंटेंट है. एंड दिस हैज टू बी डन इन 3 newspapers. One is Hindi, English, National, and then vernacular language where the registered office is situated. So whatever the advertisement, whatever the newspaper would be in which the pre-issue or advertisement has been made, in the same newspapers you are going to submit the post offer advertisements and the other advertisements whatever or whenever it is required to be made by the issuer company. Then the issuer may release the advertisement for the issue opening and the closing, which shall be in the format. So this is fine. Now during the period the issue is open for subscription, no advertisement, just see, no advertisement would be made. So during the period the issue is open for the subscription, okay, no advertisement shall be released giving an impression that the issue has been fully subscribed or oversubscribed or indicating the investor's response to the issue. Now once student had asked, that's a, like right now if you see, if the student had asked me the question today, he would have said that sir, if you see, for Zomato, सर ये तो न्यूज़ में पूरा आ गया था कि आप देखो जो एंकर इन्वेस्टर्स है, क्यूआईबी है, उन्होंने बहुत ज़्यादा सब्सक्राइब किया है. आई एम श्योर यू ऑल मस्ट हैव रेड दिस न्यूज़ दैट द जोमैटो इशू इज ओवर सब्सक्राइब्ड. ये आपने सुना था? Like
Yes,
everyone was criticizing that Zomato is coming up with a public issue. सब memes बना रहे थे, right? But still we were getting this news that the Zomato issue is oversubscribed. ये आपने देखा?
yes, sir.
So how it is possible? जब यहाँ पे मना किया गया है कि एडवर्टीजमेंट नहीं कर सकते कि आपका इशू फुल्ली सब्सक्राइब हो गया या ओवर सब्सक्राइब हो गया है और एनी वे इंडिकेटिंग द रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ द पब्लिक इशू, देन हाउ कैन यू डू दैट?
सर आई थिंक ये जो क्लॉज है ऑफ नो एडवर्टाइजमेंट इज फॉर द कंपनी टू नॉट इशू एनी एडवर्टाइजमेंट, बट वेर एज द जहाँ पे ओवर सब्सक्रिप्शन का बता रहे थे वो सब न्यूज़पेपर और वेबसाइट अपनी तरफ से इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहे थे.
Very important. All these informations were the source of these informations was not, or rather I would say the interface of these information was not the company, it was all these news portals. Okay, then what is the source of this information? The source of this information is stock exchange. स्टॉक एक्सचेंज. ये जब इशू ओपन होता है और जब इशू क्लोज होता है, व्हेन वी विल स्टडी दैट, वहां पर ये पॉइंट आएगा दैट ऑन अ डेली बेसिस आपको वहां पे अपडेट करना होगा कितना इशू आपका आ गया. सो ऑन अ डेली बेसिस यू विल गेट द इशू इज सब्सक्राइब्ड दिस मेनी टाइम्स. सेकेंड डे आपको दिखेगा द इशू इज सब्सक्राइब्ड दिस मेनी टाइम्स. थर्ड डे द इशू इज सब्सक्राइब्ड दिस मेनी टाइम्स. सो ये आपको दिखता रहेगा, बट नो एडवर्टीजमेंट वुड बी मेड बाय द कंपनी फॉर ऑल दीज थिंग्स, राइट? So company is not doing this. Just understand when I say interface, which means investors at large को कौन बता रहा है? Is it the company or these news portals? These are the news portals who are sharing this. Now your issue is going to open. Now with respect to regulation 44, it says that subject to the compliance with the provisions of the Companies Act. Now with respect to the opening of issue and also with respect to the validity of the prospectus, what is the validity of prospectus which is given in the Companies Act? कंपनीज एक्ट में वैलिडिटी क्या है? जैसे यहां पे बताया हुआ है दैट अ पब्लिक इशू मे बी ओपनड विद इन 12 months फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ इशुएंस ऑफ ऑब्जर्वेशन बाय द बोर्ड अंडर रेगुलेशन 25. कंपनीज एक्ट क्या बोलता है? ये तो आईसीडीआर बोल रहा है. दिस इज आईसीडीआर. डज कंपनीज एक्ट से एनीथिंग अबाउट इट? डज कंपनीज एक्ट से एनीथिंग अबाउट इट? Okay, so just check section 26. Okay, just check section 26, subsection 8, वहां पर बताते हैं वैलिडिटी ऑफ प्रोस्पेक्टस, राइट। सो शेल्फ प्रोस्पेक्टस का वैलिडिटी कितना रहेगा? 12 months from the first issue. And for other than shelf prospectus, what is going to be the validity? The validity would be basically 90 days from the date, when you file the prospectus or it is delivered to the ROC. So ये Companies Act बोलता है. ICDR says 2 points. One is the issue should be opened. The issue should open within 12 months from the date of issuance of the comments by the board. And then they say that the issue shall be opened after. So this says within, this says within, this says after. And Companies Act does not say about the opening, but it says what is going to be the validity of the prospectus. So based on that prospectus, when you can come up with a public issue. So it is within 90 days your issue should be open. So an issue shall be opened after at least 3 working days from the date of filing of the red herring prospectus or the prospectus with the ROC. So इस पॉइंट को अगर आप कनेक्ट करो कंपनीज एक्ट के साथ, तो कंपनीज एक्ट सेज within maximum 90 days the validity is there, the issue should open within these 90 days. ICDR says that 3 दिन के बाद, right? And then you have this. So please don't do any mathematics 90 minus 3 and 12 months and all those things. You don't have to do any such thing. Just mention that as per regulation 44 when should the issue open. अगर आप रेगुलेशन 44 देखोगे, सो व्हेन शुड इशू ओपन, सो एक पॉइंट आपके पास आता है इज सेक्शन 26 सब सेक्शन 8 ऑफ द कंपनीज एक्ट, which says that what is going to be the validity of the prospectus. What is the validity of the prospectus? It is 90 days after the prospectus is filed to the ROC or it is delivered to the ROC. So आपके लिए एक ये लिमिट है, सेकेंड लिमिट आपके लिए यहाँ पर क्या है ICDR में, दैट द इशू शुड ओपन, राइट। तो आपने DRHP फाइल किया टू सेबी एंड सेबी हैज इशूड द कमेंट्स, ओके। अब यहां से विद इन 12 months द इशू शुड ओपन, right? And then you have a third timeline which is given here. This is that once you file the red herring prospectus to the ROC, your issue should open at least after 3 working days. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir.
Right? तो ये पॉइंट आपको यहाँ पे ध्यान रखना है. Then it says with respect to the minimum subscription, तो minimum subscription हमें पता है that the minimum subscription which is received, which is to be received should be at least 90% of the offer through the offer document. ध्यान रखना, this is not NOTP, this is what? Offer through the offer document. And now can you understand why the spillover has been allowed from reserve to non-reserved category? ये पॉइंट है, NOTP और रिजर्व्ड कैटेगरी में स्पिल ओवर क्यों अलाउ करते हैं? बिकॉज मिनिमम सब्सक्रिप्शन शुड बी 90% ऑफ द combined of NOTP and the reservation which is offer through the offer document. Guys, this is clear?
Yes, sir.
And in the minimum subscription, it shall be subject to the allotment of minimum number of securities as per SCRR. So which means the company needs to maintain the minimum public float और द मिनिमम पब्लिक शेयर होल्डिंग ऑफ 25%, ये आपको मेंटेन करके रखना होगा. एंड अगर आपका मिनिमम इशू, आपको मिनिमम सब्सक्रिप्शन नहीं मिला, सो द एप्लीकेशन मनी हैज टू बी refunded to the applicants but not later than 15 days from the closure of the issue. Now ये आगे change भी हो जाएगा if it's an underwritten issue, so you get some more time there. We'll see to that. Now what is going to be the period of subscription? Now this is also a common question which has been asked. So it should remain open for at least 3 working days, and it should not be more than 10 days. So basically your period of subscription would be 3 to 10 days. Okay. Now during, let's say, these 3 days or this time period when the period of subscription is open, if you give, if you change the price band, or if there is anything, any amendment that takes place, if there is any revision in the price band, then in that says, in that particular case, the period of subscription will again get extended by 3 days. Then the issuer will extend the bidding period or the issue period for another 3 working days. And अगर force majeure जैसा situation आ गया, what is force majeure? Which is beyond the control,
Situations which are not in control of the issuer.
right? So which is beyond the control of the issuer, banking strike, floods, और ये सब ऐसा कुछ हो गया, in any similar circumstances, the issuer may, for the reasons to be recorded in writing, it can extend the bidding period which is disclosed in the red herring prospectus, or the issue period which is disclosed in the prospectus, for a minimum period of 3 working days subject to this sub regulation 1. तो आपको ये पॉइंट यहाँ पर ध्यान रखना है. तो बेसिकली द इशू प्राइस, इसमें दो पॉइंट्स जो आपको ध्यान रखने हैं, पीरियड ऑफ सब्सक्रिप्शन 3 to 10 days, मिनिमम 3 मैक्सिमम 10 days, प्लस यहाँ पर आपको फर्दर क्या बताना है, वेन एवर देयर वुड बी एनी रिविजन, ओके, extend for further 3 days. So can I revise my price band on the ninth day? Can I revise my price band on the ninth day? मैं ninth day को अपना price band revise करता हूँ. Can I do so?
Yes,
Yes. Answer is no. Because अगर मैं उसको वहां पे extend करता हूँ तो क्या होगा? I'll have to give 3 days more time. Yes or no?
yes, sir.
So can I extend now 3 days? Answer is no. See, it is clearly given not more than 10 days. आप ये देख रहे हैं? The period of subscription should not be not more than 10 days. ये आ रहा है आपको समझ में?
Yes, sir.
So अगर एक पॉइंट तो ये बताया, दूसरा पॉइंट आपको क्या बता रहा है कि अगर आपका प्राइस बैंड में कोई भी रिविजन होता है, then the issuer is going to extend the bidding period, right, or the issue period for minimum 3 working days. अब is this clear, Janit? कि 3 days,
Yes, sir.
राइट, मिनिमम आपको रखना होगा, तो यू कैन नॉट डू दैट, बट ऑफ कोर्स फोर्स मेजॉर अगर लगा तो आप वापस से 3 डेज का एक्सटेंशन वहां पे दे सकते हो. इसीलिए
Sir,
इसीलिए मैं आपको बताता हूँ, लाइक आई स्टिल can recall this one instance. One of my student is working with a merchant banker, okay, and they were for the SME, so similar provisions are there for SME also. What had happened there, it was the ninth day when he called and he said that, sir, इन्वेस्टर्स आपके जान पहचान के हैं क्या? बिकॉज मेरा क्लाइंट का जो पब्लिक इशू है वो आया है, मिनिमम सब्सक्रिप्शन इज नॉट रिसीव्ड. सो हमने उसको एक्सटेंड तो किया है, बट सर ये 10 days होने वाला है, सो इफ वी डोंट गेट दैट देन द इशू फेल हो जाएगा. इशू फेल हो गया तो मर्चेंट बैंकर के लिए इट इज़ नॉट अ वेरी गुड साइन. बेसिकली मर्चेंट बैंकर, अभी जैसे जोमेटो का पब्लिक इशू हिट हो गया, तो मर्चेंट बैंकर gets the due credit that yes, just see, because ultimately a lot is dependent on the merchant banker. So ये of course the company fundamentals and everything is important, but merchant banker के ऊपर भी बहुत important होता है, because behind the scenes, मतलब we don't see what merchant banker does. So behind the scenes, it is the merchant banker who do all these road shows, meets the investors and convinces them, right? So जो भी presentations होता है ये सब merchant banker करता है. So that's how we say that a lot depends. So limelight में नहीं आता. We see limelight only the retail part, right, which comes on the CNBC and all those things. How does the QIB, they agree for it? A lot depends on the merchant banker. So he was like, sir, 9th day हो गया है, अभी तक minimum subscription नहीं आया. We need investors जो यहाँ पे funds लगा सके. So do you know any investor to whom we can go and we can present our case? So thankfully they had got the investors, though I had none, but they went to their other investors and all, and they finally got the minimum subscription on the 10th day. So he was like, sir, thank God ये set हो गया. But अगर नहीं होता तो फिर आपके लिए वो underwriting and all those things had started. Okay. Yeah, Janet, you were saying something.
Sir, I have a question. So, what could be the reason that most of the companies only have the subscription period only of 3 days, whereas it is given that they can be up to 10 days?
So company opens, say I'll tell you, most of the companies when they come up with the public issue, the issue, the subscription and everything, most of it is already decided that these are the investors who are going to invest in the company. So the investors, basically the issuer company, the promoters of the issuer company, the management, they do not want to delay. See, if there is a delay of 7 days, their securities will get listed after 7 days, correct? What could have been listed now would be listed 7 days later, and that's understand, this is 7 working days. So you exclude Saturday, Sunday, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I know my issue will be fully subscribed, why I will keep it open for 10 days,
10 days.
right?
Yes, sir.
Whereas if you see so many public issues, it gets oversubscribed on the very first day only.
Yes.
The moment it is open, it gets oversubscribed. So that's how it goes, right? I'll
Okay.
share one article. It was there in the Business Standard that the public issue, right? The public issues which had received a bumper opening. Okay, you will get that. Okay, and you'll see. I'll share that with you. Someone had shared on the Twitter this particular story. So it's a very good article. I'll share it in the group. It can be a very good read. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and then see the application and the minimum application value. So when you are going to subscribe for the public issue, your what is going to be minimum application value? Your minimum application value would be, now it is very important because it is going to involve a lot of calculations, and probably I think 47 is going to be the last illustration. Like this is going to be the last part which we are going to cover. So next 40-45 minutes whatever we are going to set in the class is going to be extremely important, so just be very careful. Here it says that a person shall not make an application in the net offer category for the number of specified securities which exceeds the total number of specified securities which is offered to the public. Now if the company is coming up with a public issue of 300 crore, the application cannot be made for 400 crore. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Now then it says, provided the maximum application by non-institutional investor shall not exceed the total number of specified securities offered in the issue less total number of specified securities offered in the issue to the qualified buyer. So you have the number of securities which are offered to the issue. So then you have the limit. So 47 1. This says that no investor, right? A person shall not make. So here it includes all, whether you are QIB or you are anyone. And then they have the maximum number of applications which the non-institutional, so basically the non-institutional investors are going to make. It should not exceed the total issue size less the QIB. So this is the maximum limit. Then the issuer shall stipulate in the offer document minimum application size in terms of the number of securities which shall fall within the range of the minimum application value of 10,000 rupees to 15,000 rupees. Now what does this mean? It states that your minimum application size, your minimum application size, this is going to be 10,000 rupees, and the maximum size would be, so anything between this. So this is the range which has been given. So anything between this would be the minimum application size. It can be 11,000, it can be 12,000, it can be 14,999. There is no problem, but it cannot be 16,000. Based on this, you determine the lot. Based on this, you determine the minimum lot size. What is minimum lot size? That is the minimum number of securities to be offered, right? Or basically minimum number of securities that can be applied rather than offered, applied to the company by the applicant. Okay, now when I say lot size, let's presume, taking into consideration the price of the security, the lot size was, let's say, 15 shares, or let's say the minimum lot size was 55 shares. Now if I want to invest, I will basically apply minimum for 55 shares, right? This implies I will subscribe for minimum 55 shares, and then in the multiples of 55. Got it? So here I would say I have applied for one lot. Here I would say I've applied for two lot, three lot, four lots, five lots. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
I cannot apply for 1.5 lot. I cannot apply it for 2.5 lot. I cannot apply it for 2.25 lots. This is going to be the minimum lot size. Okay. Now if you see, the minimum sum payable on the application should be at least 25% of the issue price. So this is the minimum application value. 25% of the issue price. This is the minimum sum which is going to be payable on the application. Now provided in case of OFS, the full issue price is to be paid at the time of application. See, लॉजिकल भी है, company may not require the entire issue price right now, so company can make it in the installments. Company can make the calls as and when the funds are needed. As far as the OFS is concerned, the selling shareholder has already given the shares to you. So if the selling shareholder has already given the shares to you, he is not going to wait that okay, later on I am going to get it, or I will receive the money in installments. He would say give the money right now. So in case of OFS, the full issue price is paid, and in case of other than OFS, in that case, minimum 25% is to be called, and maximum of course is the entire issue price. Now the issuer shall invite applications in the multiples of the minimum application value. So this is what I had given, that it will be one lot, or it will be two lot, three lot, four lot, five lot, six lot, right? Now part B of this schedule 14, this has given some illustrations. These illustrations are also there in the module. Now just understand, let's say a company is coming up with a public issue जिसका market price कितना है, 900 rupees. Okay, now you need to determine what should be the minimum application of the lot. Minimum lot size कितना होगा, तो उसके लिए आप क्या करोगे, you know what is the range. What is the range? In this you have one minimum amount and one you have the maximum amount. The minimum amount is going to be 10,000 and the maximum amount is going to be 15,000. Correct? Now your issue price is 900. So just divide this with 900 and divide this with 900. So if you do this, 10,000 divided by 900. So this comes out to 11.11. Okay. And if you divide 15,000 with 900, this comes out to 16.66. right? Now there is a rule which you need to apply. This one, the minimum one, okay? The minimum one, this will be rounded off. This would be rounded off to the next number, which means this will become 12. And when I say this would be rounded off, the maximum, the upper limit, this would be rounded off. This would be rounded off to the previous number, which is going to be 16. So this is how you get the minimum lot size, which is 12 to 16. So now company can come up with a lot size of 12 to 16 shares. So company can say the minimum application value is 12 shares, or it can say 13 shares, or it can say 14 shares, it can say 15 shares, it can also say 16 shares. Not more than 16, not less than 12. And let's say company decides that 15 is the lot size, then it will be either 15, 30, 45, 60, and so on. So this is one lot, this is two lot, this is three lot, and this is four lots. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
ये पॉइंट आपको क्लियर हुआ?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
अच्छा, same thing. So this is the lot. So basically 12 shares. So 12 into 900 you get 10,800. 13 into 900 you get this amount. तो ये आपका चार्ट बना. Now if you see the same thing, ये तो फिक्स प्राइस था, ये मैंने illustration में add on कर दिया, and I have said that what if it's a book built issue? What if it's a book built issue? So book built issue के अंदर तो आपके पास प्राइस बैंड होगा. नाउ हाउ विल यू डिटरमाइन दिस रेंज? अब ये रेंज आप कैसे डिटरमाइन करोगे? सो अगेन वी नो दैट इन केस ऑफ अ बुक बिल्ट इशू देयर विल बी अ प्राइस बैंड. प्राइस बैंड में आपके पास एक होगा फ्लोर प्राइस और एक होगा आपके पास कैप प्राइस. ये आपके पास एक है लोअर लिमिट और एक ही आपके पास है हायर लिमिट. सो हाउ विल यू डिटरमाइन दिस लॉट साइज? सो जस्ट pick up the lower range of 10,000, divide this with the floor price. Okay. And the next one, by the way, this is not minus. Okay. Then next is 15,000, which is the higher range, and divide this with the cap price 550. By the way, what can be the cap price here? The company has kept 550, but what could have been the cap price? Cap price यहाँ पे क्या हो सकता था? If the floor price is 500, the cap price could have gone to
Sir, 600.
600, because 500. So the maximum cap price could have been 500 into 120%, which is 600. But company has kept at 550. So that's absolutely fine. So lower limit and higher limit. What is this? 500. This 500 is the floor price and this 550 is the cap price. So with the help of these two, you are going to determine the minimum lot size. So आप देखो यहाँ पर क्या आएगा? 10,000 divided by 500. So this is 20 shares, and 15,000 divided by 550. So this comes out to 27.27. Now this would be rounded off to 27 shares, right? और मैंने ऐसा क्यों किया? 27.27 को 27 क्यों किया? Why not I have made it 28? Because ये 0.5 से कम है ना?
हाँ sir.
Wrong. That's because
previous number लेना होता है जो
हाँ
maximum point है.
yes, सी आई टेल यू व्हाई. जैसे इस वाले केस में आप देखो 900 इज द इशू प्राइस ना. सी इफ व्हाट हैपेंस इफ आई टेक 11.11 and if I take 16.66. See, if I take 11.11 and if I take 16.66, what is the issue? और इसको मैं राउंड ऑफ कर देता हूँ 11 पे, इसको मैं राउंड ऑफ कर देता हूँ 7 पे. Now what is the issue price? This is 900 and what is this? This is also 900. So आप ये देखो 11 into 900. This is 9,900 and 17 into 900 if you see this is 15,300. आप देखो दोनों में जगह ब्रीच हो गया. The application size should have been between 10 to 15,000. Now if you keep it 11, this goes less than 10k, correct? And this is more than 15k. That is the reason we round off this to 12. So when I do 12 into 900, तो मेरा यहाँ पर अमाउंट आ गया 10,800, which is more than 10,000. And if I keep this 16 into 900, this becomes 144. Yes. So 14,400. आप बताइए. And which one is a correct one? See, this is the range which you need. One, your range that you get is 9,900 and 15,300. The other range which you get is 10,800 and 14,400. So which range is correct? This.
Sir, 10,800 and 14,400.
So this is wrong. This is correct. And that is the reason we round it off. Okay. Just take a screenshot of this and later on maybe you can post it in your notes. Oh, done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, if you see here, we have made a range of 20 to 27 shares and floor price is 500 and 550. So यहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखोगे तो it will be same. See 20 into, अब आप इसको फ्लोर प्राइस से मल्टीप्लाई करो या कैप प्राइस से मल्टीप्लाई करो, this will fall between 10 to 15,000 only. So this into 500, this is 10,000. If I keep a lot size of 20 and I put it 550 rupees, so this is 550. I think this is going to be 11,000. Yes, so this is 11,000. If I keep a lot size of 20, तो भी आप देखो ये मेरा 10 to 15,000 के अंदर ही है. If I keep the lot size of 27, तो क्या होगा? आप यहाँ पे देखो 27 into 500, right? So 27 into 500, this is 13,500. And if I put 27 into 550, so 27 into 550, this comes out to 14,850. So see, this is also within the range of 10 to 15. ये समझा आपको?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So if it's a fixed price issue, 10,000 15,000 is the range. So minimum and maximum range जो भी आपको दिया हुआ है उसको price से divide कर दो. Minimum rounded off to the next number, maximum rounded off to the previous number. Here, if it's a book built issue, you have a lower price band, you have a higher price band. Basically, lower in the higher limit you have lower limit divided with the floor price, higher limit divided with the cap price. Whatever amount you get, again round it off. This would be rounded off to the next number. This would be rounded off to the previous number. Okay, and you get the application size, minimum lot size. You can get a question with respect to this, how the application and the minimum application value is to be determined. Guys, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, though we have some time. Okay. Now, I'll end this lecture today here only. This part I want to cover, but this will take some time. So though we can do this, but okay, I'll cover this tomorrow only. But tomorrow, when you come for the lecture, please revise this part completely. This part and your allocation of the offer. वो आप पूरा revise करके रखना, because this will have a direct connectivity to those previous topic. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So tomorrow your lecture is again at 7.
Okay.
Okay. Then that's it for this lecture. Take care. Bye bye.